don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but everyone always tells me to believe in myself, and like, I think my banker wants me to be a YouTuber. I don't know how much he really understands what that means, but like, he seemed really on board with the general idea of it. It's not even his job to believe in me. Apparently it's also not his job to give me financial advice, which I thought was weird, because if someone else asked me, I would say that my banker gives me exclusively financial advice. But maybe that means something different than what I understand. But I don't know what the heck I'm doing. And there are a lot of obstacles between me and conventional success. So I thought maybe that's what it is. Because I feel like there's content that exists from the perspective of trained professionals, but sometimes that's like fucking corrupted, or just blatantly inaccurate, or in itself ableist in some way. The content is, or the creator, or both. And then, because we're thinking of like, what does the public have a view of? And plus, those are to some degree like pretty niche. Those can be hard to like infiltrate a new audience. And then there's people who were already public figures or influencers or celebrities of some type, who are established for whatever content they had made a career creating. And like, so like, it could be YouTube content, but like with that, even like more mainstream celebrities, music artists, and Hollywood actors, and sports ball folk. And then they come out later and are like, also there's some stuff in my brain. But a lot of times that information only comes out in a way that makes it seem like it's some type of excuse for previous public behavior, or a cry to stay relevant. And I'm not saying I personally think these things, this is just the way these things I think can often be construed. But I've never seen anyone develop an entire career or catalog of work or anything when from the straight up, at least not in a positive way. I guess there's been people who've done attempted to start a catalog of work based on a mental or physical health journey. Physical health, you see it a lot. Sometimes it pays off. Sometimes they reach the improvements they're trying to. And it's twisted too, because there used to be this idea of like, I don't know if like YouTube is my therapy, or like YouTube was what made me healthy, or like whatever. And I think that's really toxic and convoluted. I don't think that's right. Generally speaking, a person talking to a device and then uploading it to a mass and mixed audience is not going to have measurable therapeutic benefits, as contrasted to traditional avenues like one-on-one therapy or group therapy, or like, and there's different forms of therapy. But in general, I was gonna eat my overnight oats, but I feel weird about eating and talking. One or the other. Maybe it's time to try new things. Ew. I thought about just eating the whole bowl of oats really fast so that then I could talk and not actually do both. Oh, I hate this. It's important to try new things. I love this oatmeal, but I hate this. I already can't focus long enough to finish thought. How am I supposed to have a bite in between? So I want to just start. And I have a lot of other things that I've recorded, never knew how to edit or upload. Hi, oh my God, Taco Bell's doing a really good stretch. Good idea, Taco Bell. Oh, she has the best ideas. Do you want to come up here? That'd be so cute. Do you want to come up here? I don't have a treat though. But I'm eating and you can watch me eat. Your feet can be on the video. Are my leggies in the way? Excuse me. Taco Bell, you want to come up here or what? You think about it. I would love to have you come up here. So I was like, let's just start from, it's just about how broken my brain is from the very beginning. And then maybe then later making something of actual quality. But or else I guess sometimes there's like reflective documentaries or something, like after a person's recovered in some way, and then looking back at how that recovery went and sharing that as like an inspirational story. I think sometimes that can be dope, but sometimes that can be like inspiration porn, or sometimes it might just be flawed in an accidental way or something. So I thought, just start uploading right now while you're still in the throes of it. And like for me, oh no, I'm leaking. I'm wearing pajamas still, it's fine. For me, I'm like, I've spent a while doing the steps of pursuing therapy, did an intake, did a whole appointment, still have to call to schedule my second appointment, still haven't done it. And I had trouble being placed at a clinic and then with a particular therapist because of the nature of the things I struggle with. Makes me a difficult patient. And I've known that for a while. And that truth was a strong contributing factor. I need an editor. I'm not gonna edit that. We're just here. I'm an especially difficult patient to treat, and I've known that for a while, and that was a big contributing factor into why I stopped actively pursuing treatment, which is a thing that happened multiple times for multiple years around different times. Try again, then give up for a while again. And that can be really discouraging. And I don't even have any of the most stigmatized conditions, diagnoses. Like, certainly they're misrepresented, and certainly they are like misunderstood by the general public, but they're also, they are like, sometimes I get really salty because I am obviously still very like pro mental health awareness, pro mental health care reform. I have a lot of strong feelings about a lot of things. Very pro accessibility, all kinds of shit. But sometimes I get really salty because some nearly invincible socially figure will come on and cry about like depression and no one understands and it's so hard. And I really don't mean to belittle any of the experiences of anyone who deals with clinical depression. I understand that illness does not discriminate based on classic privilege. I understand that every pain is unique and valid. However, just when I hear it harped on to death, sometimes I just get really frustrated because I'm like, you're a rich white man crying about having the most socially acceptable mental illness. Because I feel like, especially when it was like around when I was in high school and like pro mental health awareness really kicked off and the focus was predominantly on depression and anxiety. And at the time I was like, this is great because those are feelings that even an otherwise healthy person can really easily understand, having experienced due to circumstances. And so it makes it really digestible and really approachable information. So I was like really on board for that. But then I feel like, at least from the eye of the general public, it became really only about those two things, and everything else is still scary and weird and bad. And I don't know like why exactly that seemed to happen. And I'm sure there are like subgroups, and I'm sure there are organizations and campaigns who are more inclusive, but like pro mental health awareness for a long time really just became pro depression and anxiety awareness and normalization, and everything else still sucks and isn't normal and isn't okay, and we don't really know about it, and we can still say mean things about it and have all these like biases and use like these diagnoses as slurs. So like that's not my favorite thing to talk about. I wish you would come up here. And mind you, I thought I had clinical depression at the time that that type of thing was going on, and I still already kind of didn't feel like I agreed with like the focus of where things were going. And again, like I think because those, when I say anxiety, I mean pretty much just like generalized anxiety. There are like more specific anxiety disorders that I feel like also got left out and pushed to the side and are still viewed with stronger bias. And to be very clear, I'm not a mental health care professional. I have no degrees. I'm just an interested person, and I try to be a really good advocate to the best of my knowledge and ability. And I've got some other shit in my own brain, and I've thought I've had some other shit in my own brain that ended up not being spot on. At different times I've kind of speculated about different things and then taken a while and like sat with it and checked in on it and been like, no, this actually doesn't describe my experience. So like I've read like parts of DSM. I haven't read the whole thing. Someday I will. I think part of the reason as if it's not just because I couldn't focus for long, but I do think part of the reason I'm like, what happens if when I finally read, oh, I thought she was gonna come up here. She just wanted to come scratch by my feet. What happens if I read the whole thing and then like the next year it gets updated? And I'm just, fuck. Wouldn't be that big a deal, but sometimes I do think about that. Like by the time I finally get around to it, it's gonna go and change on me. But don't remember. I guess I just wanted to explain what I'm about, and I kind of got on a tangent about visibility. Even right now, I think I keep thinking of and then being like, well, we'll know, wait and decide later. So that's the thing too, I don't have an editor. I don't feel like editing these. I want this to be my career someday. I want this to be something that makes people feel maybe more understanding or more understood. And it makes people feel, I mean, ideally more compassionate. Makes people feel like gently educated. And even if not literally educated, like at least tuned on to go seek education about a particular thing on their own. Instill some wonder. And then a viewer could go resolve that wonder on their own. And I just want to make something that's really honest. Honesty's always been really important to me. I used to know a guy who used to be in a band, like the 80s, like a punk band in Chicago. He peed on 2 different guys that I know of. And he used to talk to me about what might be holding me back at like making music. And he was saying about how like kids these days are so focused on like authenticity and an artist being authentic, and like the Taylor Swift era. He was using Taylor Swift as an example a lot. And this was like, I was like 18, so it was like 20, I think around 2012, around then. And the saying how back in the day, like people would write a song or an entire album like from the perspective of a character, and saying how like he'd written a song from the perspective of like in one song it was a character who like killed these different people and dug up bones, and then in a different later song he was some completely other guy, and he never did neither of those things, but he could write a song about it. And kind of looking at being a music artist, like a lyricist and a guitar player and whatever, singer, a little more from the perspective of like what I would kind of think of as like live theater. And so you're like playing a role for a time and you're just being like an actor. And I do think artistically that's a really interesting thing, but I mean, I didn't know myself this well back then yet. I hadn't known me for this long. No one knew me for this long back then. But I do think maybe sometimes that's something that stands in my way, because I think honesty is really important to me. And so I'm realizing right now that maybe it just takes, you know, maybe that's something if I made a lot of honest art first and wasn't hiding those things anymore, then it might be easier to like create art from more of a caricature point of view. So I just want to create a body of work that's really honest. And I want to get better. 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 I want to feel better than I do most of the time up until now. I want to feel better than this. I'm really tired of feeling these types of ways for so long. I'm really tired of living my life in the ways that I have. And I want to be doing something different than what I've done. So I'm doing something different. I'm doing something new. I'm trying a new thing. And as much as I wouldn't recommend this to anyone else, this part I'm about to get into, I wouldn't recommend. Like I said earlier, I don't think that chit-chat vlog style nonsense is a replacement for real therapeutic treatment. However, I'm a really difficult patient to treat, and I'm gonna keep trying. I am gonna call them back. I might ask for a different therapist. I haven't decided yet. I'll probably give the same person at least one more try before I make that call. And I'll just keep trying new people, and I'll keep waiting to get a referral to the specialty clinic that has a minimum 6-month wait list. I'm gonna keep trying, but I'm gonna try everything. This is embarrassing because so many of them are, I have so many habits to track. I'm trying everything. I'll try everything. Because that's the thing that gets me too. Sometimes people know me in real life and they just try and confront me and be like, don't be like this. I'm tired of you being like this. And I'm like, me too. I'm more tired of being like this than you will ever be able to imagine. Only sometimes does me being like this cause a hiccup in someone else's day or whatever, enough for them to notice it, to comment on it. But I have to deal with me being like this all the time, and I've been here for a very long time. So, yeah, but earlier I was saying I kept getting embarrassed about something. Even right now, I'm really embarrassed. I'm afraid to say what specifically is up with my brain in a serious context, because I fully intend to put this whole thing on the internet. And I'll probably get like 2 views, but what if someday it has like 100 views? And what if people try and use me to use it against me or use it against someone else? That wouldn't be cool with me. I guess I can just say that. It's my space. It's my space. I want to create work that's honest. And so I'm going to do that. And the stipulation of that is I fully expect anyone who has watched this far, anyone who's going to watch the body of work that I intend to create, anyone who's going to become my editor for me, anyone who's going to enable me to potentially make work of this one day, make a career of this one day, anyone who's here, anyone who sees this, you're not allowed to use the words I'm about to say to make me or anyone else feel bad or less valid or less welcome. You're not allowed to use the words I'm about to say in conjunction with any of my other behavior to paint false narratives about me or anyone else, or to make presumptions about others. Because these are my understandings of the way my brain works, and this is me evidencing my own behavior in pursuit of growth and health. And it'd be really fucked up to use that against me or anyone. So, welcome to my mental health vlog series. I don't know how it's all gonna go down. I for sure have hella ADHD. I really sure seem like I have bipolar too. They're different types. That one's a little less for sure. It's a little more recent that the doctor's been informed about it. But it sure does seem true based on the entire history of my life and the response to medication I've had. So, welcome to the mental health vlog. I gotta go get ready for the day. Let me know if there's any particular content you'd like to see. I'm pretty good at juggling. I'm a little good at guitar. I'd love to do some journal tube. Got 2 really cute cats. They have no teeth. I have all the teeth in this house. I would love to be a reaction channel, but I gotta figure out how to put that little screen in the corner, or else I gotta have a whole other device just to watch it on and put that in the camera frame, whichever way. This one's been long. Thanks for sticking it out. Let me know if you're interested in being my editor. Comment down below. What's the thing you're most afraid of someone using against you? Love you. Make sure you drink some water. Take your meds. I already did before breakfast. Do a good stretch. And wash your hands. And that's all. Bye.